In the port city of Marrowhaven, everyone knew Corin Vale. Not because he was noble, because his money moved. His ships carried timber, salt, and cloth. His warehouses fed the market. His loans kept smaller merchants alive. Corin didn't build one pile of gold. He built a machine. 3 ships on rotation, 2 riverside warehouses, contracts with the Navy, credit from lenders who trusted his name. It worked so well that Corin started believing the most expensive lie success can teach. If you plan hard enough, nothing can touch you. Then came the storm. The day began calm. Too calm. By afternoon, the sky thickened. The water turned dark. Sailors watched the wind the way dogs watch thunder. Corin should have moved the ships, but 2 were half loaded. 1 was due to sail at dawn. Delays meant penalties. Penalties meant rivals. So Corin managed the risk. Double ropes, extra anchors, more guards on the docks. "Ride it out," he said. Night arrived, and the storm didn't pass. It hit like something angry and precise. Waves hammered the harbor wall. Lanterns shook. Ropes groaned. Then the first rope snapped. One ship tore free, swung sideways, and slammed into the next. Wood cracked. Rigging tangled. A mast dropped hard into the dark. Corin's clerk shouted, "Cut them loose!" Corin froze, because cutting them loose meant choosing loss. The storm chose for him. A second ship was dragged into the collision, then the third. The harbor became a grinding cage of timber and iron. By morning, the water was filled with broken beams and floating barrels. Corin's fleet, his moving fortune, was gone. He told himself the warehouses would save him. Then the river rose, not gently. It pushed into the warehouse district, lifting crates, ripping doors, soaking inventory. Salt ruined cloth, water warped timber, oil leaked into mud. Worse than the goods, the storm soaked the records, receipts, tallies, agreements, the things that proved what belonged to whom. By noon, Corin's warehouses looked full, of ruined value, and the real damage still hadn't arrived. Because ships and goods weren't the core of Corin's wealth. Promises were. A week after the storm, the city stopped talking about waves. It started talking about debt. The Navy wanted deliveries. Lenders wanted interest. Crews wanted wages. Partners wanted refunds. Corin explained. Everyone heard, not paid. And in a trading city, the moment people believe you might not pay, they do one thing. They stop trusting tomorrow. Smaller merchants panicked first. Many had borrowed through Corin or relied on his credit. If Corin fell, their lifeline snapped. So they tightened. They demanded early payments. They refused new deals. They stopped extending grace. Rivals moved fast. They offered Corin's clients safer contracts. They bought salvage rights. They whispered the sentence that kills a business quicker than fire. Vale is risky. Corin tried to rebuild anyway. He sold property to cover wages. He borrowed again to buy 1 ship. He promised the Navy he'd catch up. But rebuilding takes time. And time is expensive when interest is running. Then the lenders changed tone, not with threats, with math. One lender laid a single page on Corin's desk. It showed what Corin owed, what he could still sell, and the gap between them. Corin stared at the gap and finally understood what the storm actually did. It didn't steal his wealth. It exposed it. It exposed how much of rich was leverage, how much of power was borrowed belief. Because the day after the storm, the sea calmed. The sun returned. But credit didn't. And without credit, Corin couldn't restock. Without restock, he couldn't trade. Without trade, he couldn't pay. So his empire didn't collapse in one dramatic moment. It collapsed in the weeks after, when every promise came due at the same time. Corin's final sale wasn't heroic. He signed over his warehouses to settle part of what he owed. Then he walked to the harbor where his ships had once looked unstoppable. The water was calm again. That was the cruelest detail. Nature doesn't stay angry, but consequences do. Marrowhaven remembered the lesson long after Corin's name faded. Wealth isn't only what you own. It's how many shocks you can survive. And one storm proved Corin Vale couldn't.